symbolize AEP River operations moving forward with their Go Green initiative. So that's what this is all about. We run 80 plus boats, roughly 3,300 barges, 1,475 employees. I think all of you understand what we've done as far as our repower, but I would like to explain a little bit why. We bought the 3 triple screws. We didn't really have to do a lot to the engines, just put the thing to work. Back at that time, let's repower them. Let's use the engines we've got, make them to EPA compliant, Tier 2. Now we're at the 3 6,000 horsepowers, 10 new boats, 6,000s and 22 in the Gulf. They're all Tier 2 compliant. We lead the industry in Tier 2 EPA emissions. That's a huge accomplishment. It's a lot of money spent, but it's the right thing to do. Let's talk about the Donna Russian. 73 model boat that came out. Now it leads the industry with technology by far. And we're going to talk a lot about that. Part of the 4 goals that we really focused on for this project was safety and health, environmental, ergonomics, and innovation. This boat, in my eyes, probably leads the whole entire AEP fleet as far as having the mindset and the safest boat to work on. As far as safety and health, safety being first, we've had men overboard. This Orco man overboard alert system is really lightweight. You can bounce it off the ground. It fits on the life jacket. You can identify Mary, the cook, the pilot, the captain, the deckhand's name. When it hits the water, it immediately goes to a little sensor, kicks on, Mary's in the water. What better way to know to throw back on the throttle? We got a person in, and here's where they're at. The Donna Russian will be the first one with that. It's on board. The state-of-the-art water pretreatment system. AEP designed that. We get water that we purchase when we get fuel that goes into our tanks. We didn't know where it come from. We didn't know what was in it, a spider, a bug, what the hose produced. We want a water pretreatment system when the water we receive goes through 3 stages, goes into our tank. It gets pretreated when it comes out through a state-of-the-art system that we helped design and into our drinking water and our shower water for our crews. In our eyes, we pay $30,000 to clean our water tanks. Because of why? For bugs, spiders, dust, dirt, debris that we got for free or that we purchased through water. This will eliminate all that. So not only does it take the longevity of the tank, the cleaning service, it's the safety and the health of the people that's drinking the water. The 5-seal air purification system. Keep in mind, you walk in this boat, it constantly filters it, killing all the bacteria in the air. It constantly turns itself over. One person gets on the flu, sure they're going to be sick, but we're not going to spread it throughout the boat. What a better way to invest a little bit of money for the health of our people. We don't want them to go home sick. We don't want to get them sick. When they come from home with the flu, when they get cured up, the rest of the crew, the 10 or 11 people, is going to continue to work. Brita hydration water system, bottled water, believe it or not, costs money to buy. You do it at home. Goes in the refrigerators. We drink it, throw the bottle away. We pay to get rid of trash. Purchase it, costs money to get rid of it for clean water. This hydration system is in the galley and one in the wheelhouse, but you just put your glass in the galley up underneath it and it shoots a ultraviolet sensor, and the water passes through it, through the 3 stages you've already heard about, and right into the glass for fresh drinking water, cleaner than what you could get in a bottle. We don't have to purchase that anymore. Plus we get the quality of water and just change the way boats, there's people that won't drink water off a boat because the mindset is coming out of a tank. This is going to change all of that. We do it in the Gulf, our 1550s. One of the number 1 expenses we buy, humidity and heat down there, a lot of Gatorade, a lot of water, going through a lot of it. This could open the door after trial and error. We could implement this on the 1550s. We could eliminate all that purchase, the trash. Crew fitness center. We always had a few weight machines, exercise equipment on the boat. It may be in the hallway. It may be in the captain's room. It may be in a little spare room with clutter. We designated a fitness room to this. This boat is not very big, but there's a way. It requires moving walls, open doors. In 1973, they didn't care if you exercised or not. Today, it matters. There's a fitness center. It has a little refrigerator in there. with refillable water that we get downstairs, and we put it in there. It's got towels, it's got a shower, it's got its own storage room, it's got a TV in it just like the hotel. It's got some video capabilities. If you want to do some exercise equipment, it's available. We're going to grow that even more and more. Emergency backup engine room lighting. Lose a generator. You used to get a chief engineer, grab a flashlight, and run down through there barefooted or whatever he could just to get it started again to save the crew. Our new engines now work on 24-volt systems. Why not take advantage of it? We're the first ones going with all electronic engines. Let's tie all LED lighting in the engine room to the 12-volt engine system. We can lose a generator. If you're standing out in the engine room, you don't know it because we still got lighting. It's a backup system. This is the very first boat in the U.S. with an Energen fire system. This is the first boat ever that's been approved. For the United States Coast Guard, approved system. The subchapter M and all of it is dictating that in the future. This boat has the very first system on it. If it discharges in the past, you would die in the engine room because you can't breathe. It kills all the oxygen in it. This system is made out of all natural substance, works off high pressure. It doesn't delete the oxygen, and it puts the fire out. You can still breathe in it. The EPA is worried about the ozone. This does that also. It actually will not deplete the ozone. It's all environmentally friendly. You could actually take one of these canisters and unthread it, dump it in the river. You just got to get it recharged again. With this system, being we're the first ones, go into ANSEL, go into the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard wanted to be a part of it. Who would have ever thought somebody that usually costs us a lot of money would be the one to step up and want to help us with it? And ANSEL, the company that makes it, stepped in and wanted to be a big part of it. We got this on the boat, and if we discharge it and test it, it costs us nothing to refill it. It cost us a lot of money in the past with the other Halon system and everything. This is a free refill on it. It's a win-win-win. If it goes off, if we save one life, it's paid for itself. Now we've got, as we build new boats in the future, why would you not want to implement it in the spec going forward? You know, why would we not want to do that? First ever, the Coast Guard is putting that on their website. When you pull up their website, I think it's after January 1, it's going to say congratulations to the Donna Rushing and AEP River Operations for getting the very first environmentally friendly certified boat. We're working very hard to do that, and it was their idea. This boat has the very first ever Tier 3 engine. I don't want to use the world, but in the United States. Tier 3 is driven by the EPA. The EPA is making you reduce particulate matter or exhaust coming out. It's an ash that comes out. They want you to meet 25%. These engines meet 50%. We're way ahead of the game. We're a year ahead of anybody else putting a Tier 3 engine in a riverboat. What a better project to do that on than the Donna Rushing Green project. EMD gave us the parts to make it Tier 3 because they were so intrigued with the project and they wanted to get their name on this boat to get it out in the industry to say we can do it. EMD made Tier 3. So they furnished the parts, $150,000+ worth of parts just to be on board with this vessel. Now when we go up and down the river and our customers and a lot of Dave and a lot of these guys are here, wouldn't it be nice to move this on farther when our boat and the Donna Rushing especially pulls up to a plant that they want to do more business with us because we're environmentally friendly, we've done everything we can do. Wouldn't this be the greatest sales pitch we could do for emissions? When you come through the state of Illinois and this thing's coming through, that's your emissions. That's what the EPA is all about. We did it with the generators and the engines, the first ever. Very proud of that. Milwaukee filterless system. This boat doesn't have any filters. Your car has filters. This boat doesn't have any filters. We buy a lot of filters, and they're very, very expensive. And we put them on, and we store them, and we cut the cardboard up to get them out. And we have to bundle it and recycle it. It's oily. It's the diesel fuel, the lube oil. It's a mess. You slip, you slide. You have to soothe the decks. Water goes in the bilge. It's a chain reaction all the way to when the oily filters get discharged off the boat. It's a cost. It's a huge cost. To not have to buy a filter, and we ain't going to pay to dispose of the filter, nor are we going to have the slips, trips, and falls, and the hazards, and get rid of the oily water that's in the bilge. That was a win-win altogether. We have the very first ever Milwaukee fuel system on board this boat. They flew from Europe over here and been working with us on it. We have it on board. We tested a version of it on the Noble Sea, the Mary Harder, or the Mary Shield, and now the Donna has the state-of-the-art first setup. So it's achievable. That's ongoing throughout the fleet of as we move forward. If anything, it pays for itself in probably a year. Why would you not? I don't even have to go to Keith and Jeff and them and say if I could spend $20,000 here and get it back in a year. That's a no-brainer for us. In 1973, they didn't care if you dumped 20 gallon in there. They did not care. These boats were designed to fuel, hook the hose up to it, throw it on as quick as you can because we got a tow to go. If it went in the river, you hurried up and told him, get out of here. There ain't no current here. Let's get away from it before we get in trouble for it. them days are gone. Okay, so we could have left it alone. But what can we do? We've got our new 6000s with this technology. It's things that we've already wanted to do. Let's cut the side out of the boat. Let's move it in. If it drips, we want it to go in a containment. We're carrying buckets out here now in 73 and setting them underneath it so if the vapor or you overflowed a little bit, it went in a bucket. Then you had to carry the diesel fuel and dump it in the bills. We put a containment in it. It's the perfect time to do it. So we put containments, fuel sticks, valves, high-level alarms, every tool you possibly can ever put on a boat. We did it on this one just to keep that drop from going in the river for zero environmental. Again, keep in mind, we wouldn't have had to do it. What's the benefit? We get fined. It's wasted a lot of people's time. That boat sits there for hours waiting on the Coast Guard. It's a chain reaction of cost going on that it's the right thing to do. Environmentally friendly lubricants. Grease touching water makes a sheen. Every boat running where grease does touch the water, under where the shaft runs into the water, underneath just like your boat, that process is happening. There's a little bitty seal. There's things that control it, and maintenance controls it, but you're still got that liability. On a 110-degree day, the buttons on top of the wheelhouse that dab it, you take a grease gun and you squirt it in there. Rains, the little sheen comes down, goes in the river. We're liable for it. We got to find a grease that's environmentally friendly, that'll protect the product and let it run from point A to point B in the length of time it's supposed to. The first thing out of everyone's mouth, they don't make it, it don't exist. Well, it does, and we found it. The number one, they make a lubricant for that. We've shared that with Elmwood. They done some follow-up on it. We spread that to numerous different people. Come to find out it has better protection. You can actually put it in your hand and put it in water and scrub them like you're washing your hand, and no sheen comes off of it. You can't make it get off your hand. It's a win-win all the way around. It's more expensive, but it lasts longer. But we have everything on our barge winches. We did that several years back. Every barge winch sits in the hot sun with no man on it, floating around out here. Rain, hot day, a barge is the hottest thing we do is walk on a steel deck, and the grease will run off into the river. We're moving forward with our barges. All learn off the Donna rushing what we can do. The product there, we own a lot of equipment that requires a lot of grease. Why not move forward with it? The Donna, we pulled everything out of it. We had to anyway. The rudders, everything that touched water, everything was removed. This new grease was put on there. We don't have to worry about this one anymore. All biodegradable cleaning products. All of you have a house. A lot of people say, well, it don't work. It's cheaper. If it don't scrub, if it won't do my dishes, if it won't do this or that, it won't work. I don't care. Environments, going in the sewer, the septic tank. We don't have that luxury on a boat. On a boat, we have zero discharge is what we're trying to achieve. So when a cook takes the shower, what she washes her hair with and the soap goes down the drain and would go overboard in 1973 and until this boat came in. We routed everything through a holding tank and an evaporation system that we'll talk about later. So all these products that you do the laundry with, there's 20 detergents that say they're biodegradable, friendly, safe, recyclable container. You can buy it in bulk. It's cheaper. It works. It doesn't work. But one, again, like I said earlier, stands above all the rest of them. The purchasing department done a wonderful job of really digging in deep and saying, what all detergents do we use in the past? And we took the Donna Rushing actual one boat report and where all this stuff was and the detail, get every one of those items and find something to replace it with. And we've done that. It's very neat. It's organized. You walk in there, you actually put your clothes in and push the button and it comes out of its own canister and discharges through it. You don't even have to put the amount in it, and it goes all the way out. You go in the rubber room, fill the container back up. We don't even throw a box away. We don't buy a box. We don't throw a box away. It still cleans, and when it goes into our MSD unit, our holding tank, it evaporates. Zero discharge. It sounds very like it's a gadget, but it's not. It's a whole system around that. We've had a very extensive ergonomics program. We've had many people involved with it. We never shared it. Now we can. The galley layout, the boat, the cook. We don't want her down on her knees opening up a cabinet, getting pans from the bottom, reaching over to her left, having to stand on a ladder, getting up above. You know, ergonomics is sort of defined as, you know, how you use your body in an everyday, you know, method of being able to do your daily job. The cook, we wanted to come in there and everything be shelf high with everything in mind. So this whole galley, if you get an opportunity to look at it, the whole thing is laid out with ergonomics and safety and limit steps. Everything was moved. This thing is not like the normal. You can go forward, you can go back to the side. Everything matters. It's put into one area for that reason. Converted all ladders to steps. In 73, if you notice that picture before, that is an older picture that we've done some editing on. It has ladders going on the wheelhouse, ladders on the stern, ladders up the side. And believe it or not, we work in ice and rainy conditions. People are climbing up and down with tools. Now we open the door to our vendors. We want them to come to our boat to fix our radars, to get on board, to do walkthroughs, the Coast Guard. We don't want any of them on our ladders either. We cut them all off, put staircases with handrails. You can walk with something in your hand and walk up any step on this boat. We eliminated 100% of all of that risk. Appliances sound small. We have the first ever on a riverboat, a commercial dishwasher that you don't have to bend over to put anything in it. It works a biodegradable, refillable product that you don't have to dump it in it. It washes it and dries it at a hotter temperature and dries it all in 90 seconds. And when you pull it out, they're dry and you put them on the shelf. The cook spends an hour doing dishes, and now she's cut to 10 minutes. It was a little bit more money, but it has a 20-year warranty on it. Every part of it that can fail is easily accessible, and the chief can change it. We don't have to roll it out of here and go get a new one, throw that in the dumpster again, make it recyclable and get rid of it and bring me another one and give me a Sears this time. It took a lot of work to find this thing, and when you push the button, it rolls right out here to her, and she picks them up and they're dry. It goes through. It's amazing. This all came from a cook saying, man, these old dishwashers, steam rolls out of them, they're hot. It takes forever. I go to bed. I get up an hour early so I can unload the dishwasher. I beg the deckhands to do it. Why not try it? This is where we got it here now. Let's get feedback. It's a great deal. Appliances. We have the first greaseless deep fryer. Spent hours where a cook can get on a boat now. We don't like the buying the oil. We don't like her chance of getting burned, dropping it in there, steam, having to clean the hood because of the oil that gets baked up in it. You wouldn't think they make it, but they make one, or they did after we got really digging at it. You walk in there and you can actually throw fish, you can batter it in a whole bit, you lay it in there, shut the door, push the button, and less than 25 seconds it's brown like you went into a seafood place. We've sent our cooks to school. They first went in the door, like I said earlier. That's the craziest thing ever. I like my oil, I like my grease. I want my deep fryer, I like my shrimp, I know how to do this, I want that too. Man, that thing's incredible. Man, I love that. Man, I can do my biscuit. I can sleep 30 minutes later. I don't have to get up at 3 o'clock now to walk in there. I can do, look how much more I can do. I can go to my room, I can read a book. It's a mindset. This is what this project had opened up. It actually has a little flash drive. Some cooks and people don't have technology. Some of the younger ones do. She plugs it in. They'll say, welcome, Mary. And it's got all of her stuff on it. She can unplug it, put it in her pocket. It saves hers. The next cook can get on that's going to ride it. She can put her flash drive in it and all her stuff's in there. It's even got that capability. Really neat. This thing was less money than the deep fryer, not counting the oil and the hazards, and it will scare you to death. I don't even want to get into that, what we do with the oil. We got procedures, but it's a lot going on. And in the vision, 1,375 rake barges we got. We got a sensor that'll go down into the rake of them. Wireless controls that's out on the Jeffrey Stover right now southbound. The deckhands just walk out, lay them on the deck. Captain, you got a reading on the port side? Yes, you got a reading on the starboard side. No wires. We don't run a sounder cord. We don't put the aluminum sounder pole down. We don't run any cables. We don't have to pick it up. Again, our tows turn around quicker. Deckhands don't have to be out there for hours getting the tow done because we're all wireless. You can't, and then all of a sudden now everybody sort of steps up and go, man, that's a pretty good idea. Can you do it? I know Harry and his team and some of the port mates, a lot of this was driven off of them. They don't like running the cords out. The cords, we buy a lot of cords. We've done a lot of research behind the scenes. If this could happen, this would change the industry, and AEP and the Donna Rushing and the barge team and the culture of our people could change all that 20 years from now when they say that. Well, AEP was the first ones that ever done that. It's worth looking into, and we've moved forward by doing that. The yawl ladders, aluminum rigging, y'all already know about them. This is a good way to highlight this. Part of ergonomics, getting on and off the boat, safety for a crew. That committee is ongoing. They do a great job. This boat, we hope to do the prototype for everything. We think we've ergonomically fixed everything on this boat in the vision of probably 100 people that we've asked going on and off the boat. What else do we need to do? We think we've got that covered. Innovation. This boat has 100% LED lighting throughout the whole boat. To our knowledge, we're probably the first one in the U.S. to have that on a boat. It's a lot of work to put all LED lighting on a boat. But let's back up again. We've had 2 injuries because of bulbs. Screwing them out, cutting in the bag, carrying them off, they break. We buy a tremendous amount of ballast. We buy a tremendous amount of lights. We buy a lot of light bulbs. None of them interchange. They're all different sizes. None of them will fit. We've got tons of boats with mistakes where they bought 8-footers where it's a 10-foot light. They didn't know that. Just ordered another batch and they're stacked in the back. We buy them. It costs us a lot of money to dispose of them. You would $350 a bag. If that bag is yellow and it's got a couple oily rags in it and 25 light bulbs in it and a couple batteries in it, it's $350 to $375. That's what it costs. And it's not uncommon for us to put 10 bags on per boat, times 80, big number. So LED lighting, it does our SIMS program, it automatically dims down. They give us an extended warranty on it. We got 10 years warranty on every light on this whole entire boat. We don't have people standing on milk crates again, unthreading out there on the outside, changing them outside bulbs. We're very proud of this LED lighting. It'll pay for itself in less than 10 years. I don't have an exact, probably 5 years, because again, we're not going to buy them, we're not going to dispose of them, nor are we going to have any injuries messing with them. The hot water system. This came up with an idea from an assistant engineer. The port engine heats all the hot water for the entire boat. This came from a guy that owned a sailboat. He said a sailboat done it. I was on a sailboat that the hot water came from a little bitty old engine on there. Well, they make them for a sailboat. They just don't make them for a 6,000 horsepower commercial riverboat. So we called this company and they said, well, we never had anybody ask that. Well, what does a submarine do? So we go to this company and they said, well, it would work, but we never thought about an engine. We got to buy this little attachment. We bought 3 little pieces to adapt this to the port engine. So the hot water heater, we have one on there, but the hot water heater is only used when you go up on dry dock, if you have to have it. So we buy a lot of hot water heaters again. We buy a ton of elements. We'll get away from every bit of that. That was a big accomplishment. And if the generators are running and both engines are shutting down, you just close the valve and the generators will heat them. It just keeps going. Remote capstan. I don't know how many of you have heard about that. We've had a lot of injuries. When a line breaks, when a crew member is trying to pull barges together, when the line breaks, typically if you was in the line of fire, you got hurt really bad and you're off for quite some time. And it happens. And it has happened in the industry for years. People's lost limbs and everything else. We, a couple of years ago, put a committee together, the safety group and numerous people. What are we going to do? We want to build bat cages? Do we want to raise something, lower something, put a pipe in the way? Well, we had one of our gentlemen stepped up and said, why don't we just make it remote? The item came out in 1973, the same capsule we've used for years. We just come and made it automated, designed our own panel, made it wireless, took it down on the Noble Sea, had them to test it. The key to the whole thing is staying mobile, out of the line of fire, every time. Regardless if you're pulling right, left, up, high, low, you've got that ability to get anywhere you want to with the first ever remote capstan. AEP River Operations designed that with our own people. Onboard evaporation system, I talk about zero discharge. This boat evaporates 15 gallons an hour. We don't generate, but we believe, 8 gallons an hour. It's all about, if we can evaporate all the water we produce and get rid of it, we don't have to pay to get rid of it. You would think you would give water away, or the fuel flat would take it. They want to bill us for fuel at the highest rate we can, and they want to charge us for every piece of trash we put off, and they want us to pay for our gray water that we put off. Evaporation system will pay for itself really quick. We designed a tank that all the water goes into. It's got a sight glass, got a metering system in it. It's a whole system that continuously evaporates water that the crews generate. A great deal. Electronic safety media station. It may not sound like a lot, but we worked with the safety department, several different people. I think IT's been involved with it when you walk on the boat. It's everything we do right, our safety, our greeting, all of our slips, trips, and falls, and everything is automated at a touch screen. Right now, if you've ever went on a boat, the crew wants to see your Twix card. You show that Twix card, and well, come on in. I'll give you a little safety briefing. You go in the galley, and you don't hear the same story twice. Your life jacket, be careful on the boat. Don't walk outside. Here's our zone. Wouldn't it be great to have one, and what the Donna has, a touch the screen? Welcome on board the Donna Rushing. You know, it's a privilege having you on here. While you're on board, look at the innovative ideas we've got on here. Safety bulletins, fuel spills, slip, trips, and falls. Anything that we do as a safety initiative will be on this onboard computer touchscreen where we can show our vendors and ourselves. Main engine water recycle system. We'll spend a lot of time on this one, but it's something that we spend a lot of money on. If we have an engine failure and our engines don't ever break down, the water that is drained down from them, 400 gallons, typically went into bilge. We bought new rust inhibitor treatment, very expensive, and when we filled them back up after the repairs were done, we got up there and added this treatment to the water system so we could go on again. It keeps the engine from rusting inside out. Each time, at probably 20 cents a gallon, to discharge 400 gallons of water that we had to pay to get rid of out of the bilge. And then buying that couple $100 for the containment, we just designated a void tank that in 1973 was nothing but a tank. It never has had anything in it. We just discharged all that water into it and made a whole plumbing system. It goes in there when the repairs are done. We switched their valves and plumbed it where you just discharge it all back up. We don't buy the inhibitor no more. We don't get rid of the water. It's a recyclable product. We'll never have to do it again. When we come into overhaul, that's an automatic drain. Both engines into the bilge. Pay to get rid of 600 plus gallons. Now when we overhaul it, that water comes up and is reused. So it's a big deal behind the scenes. 106, 108, not really getting down in the weeds. Water runs through the shafts on a boat when it's set. Water constantly runs in that shaft area. It goes in a containment. And when that float switch fills up, it kicks on and it discharges that water overboard. It's part of the way a boat operates and keeping that shaft cool. To us, if we have an environmental incident, which we've had one, where a line blew or something that gets in that containment, it discharges overboard. So we got a tremendous amount of liability around that reason. We had these built because nobody on the inland river had a set of dripless shaft seals to fit a river boat. It's called a Simplane seal. It is a technology that if we would have asked them 5 years ago, they would have probably built it. So we paint that area back there now on the Donna. It is dry, it's clean, it doesn't drip. We don't have to repair it either. It's a mechanical piece that'll continue to run. And we don't have any water, we don't have any exposure, we don't have anything. A ventilation system, boat sweat, condensation, mold builds up. Created a new dehumidifying ventilation system to reduce all that condensation. We have had a virtual nightmare on that for people wanting off the boat, thought they were sick. We thought we had some mold. The ceiling tiles are all discolored. We need new ceiling tiles. The boat's sweating up in the ceiling. It looks like it's raining in the cook's room. All that went away. It went away from a couple of tests on other boats. The Noble Sea, the Mary Shield, now the Donna has a state-of-the-art ventilation system that goes through to prevent that 100%. We don't care for the industry following suit with what we do. We just want to be the ones that's always looking out ahead. Every supply that comes from Pedders, everything that we send to the boat, we want to put it in a cardboard box, throw duct tape on it, write on it with a black marker, and send it to the boat. Nobody ever got on the other side of the fence and been the chief engineer and assistant engineer going, what in the hell am I going to do with all this cardboard? It's stuffed behind toolboxes in the rudder rooms. They're stacked this high. Some of the engineers said, get rid of cardboard. Well, first thing you do, you can't. That's just part of the shipping. That's just the way we do it. You don't have any choice. You go to Pedders. Well, cardboard's the cheapest thing we got. We recycle it, so then the recycle group grabs a hold of it. And we'll recycle, send it back to us. It's still cutting it, stacking it, binding it, putting it off. Believe it or not, the fuelers charge us to get rid of cardboard. It's trash. It's a chain reaction. So they bought the totes that's been around forever. 3 sizes. All the supplies come in. Open them up. Make sure everything's right. Just put them in them. They close. You put a Ziploc tag. We've had stuff missing. People go through our cardboard boxes. It's got a seal on it. Motor vessel, Donna Rushing. It goes to Wycliffe. It goes to the boat. The chief clips it, checks his packing slip. When he gets done, they're stackable. He comes to his next supplier when he does groceries. He sets those off. Contacts, I got 10 totes coming off, 10 coming on. Cardboard went away. Simple process. Pedders doesn't like the idea. Hell, we tried it a long time ago, a simpler version. We would love to do that for you. That'll help cut some of our costs. We're buying cardboard. We don't want it either. That's the only way to do it. It'll save us time. There's a monthly statement that goes out to the boat, and there's 11 of them each month where the cook, the pilot, the mate, the deckhands, each one of them has to fill them out themselves, what they like, what they dislike. This is not just the captain, it's not just the cook or the mate. We get crew involvement from everybody. They all roll back in. A committee's going to look at them monthly, what works, what doesn't work. Trust me, we may have bought a few things that didn't work 100%. We may have to put a twist to it. At the end of the day, for the next 5 years or greater, this boat here could continue to keep leading the industry. It could be number one. When we figure it out on this boat, it can go to the rest of the fleet. This is our prototype. It's a boat that we can be very proud of.